President Trump has promised to deport millions of immigrants to their home countries. And today, the Department of Homeland Security announced it is widening the net. A new policy gives ICE agents the green light to conduct enforcement operations in schools, churches, playgrounds, and daycare centers. Those locations used to be off limits. Now, ICE can look for people in those places to deport. The mayor of Denver telling Top Story last night, those sensitive areas are a big concern for his city.
Churches, schools, hospitals, they've long been no-go locations for ICE because to run a safe city, we have to have a hospital everyone can go to if they're in an emergency without worrying about getting deported. We have to have kids be able to go to school without worrying about their status or their parents' status. And we're worried about these protected populations.
Last week, NBC News got an up-close view of what a typical deportation flight looks like and a step-by-step description of the entire journey from ICE officials who explained the complicated and expensive process. First, it starts with an arrest by ICE agents. Then, immigrants are taken to be detained at more than 100 local ICE facilities. From there, they may have a chance to go before a judge and plead their case. Typically, this process has taken weeks if it's fast-tracked, or if not, it has even taken years. If a judge agrees that the person should be deported, ICE will fly them to one of 4 staging areas in San Antonio, Alexandria, Louisiana, Mesa, Arizona, or Harlingen, Texas, where we went and saw migrants on their way from detention to the tarmac.
ICE has about 10 planes just like this that they can use to deport migrants.
This is the end of the journey for them.
Miguel Vergara is one of the field office directors for ICE.
Every individual that we boarded in the plane had their day before an immigration judge. The case was heard, they had their due process. Every possible remedy that could have been applied or it was exhausted. And it was determined by an immigration judge that they don't have a right to remain in the United States, and that's why they're here today.
Parents who have had children in the United States will have to decide if their children are deported with them or left behind. Although it looks like any other commercial plane, migrants are only allowed to bring 1 bag of belongings weighing 40 pounds or less. There are between 15 to 20 guards on board, and everyone is shackled, except for children and parents traveling with kids.
In the last year, ICE was able to remove over 270,000 migrants, many of those on planes just like this. But if the Trump administration wants to deport more migrants, they're going to have to spend more money, not just on planes like these, but on the pilots, the staff, and the detention space to hold migrants before they board these planes. So what will happen to these people when they land in Honduras? How will they get back to their homes?
Their respective government has some assistance, and oftentimes, like here in the United States, there are non-government organizations who wait at the airport and offer assistance to help them get to where they need to go.
Once they land, they'll be interviewed by local officials and given a medical evaluation before being transported to their hometowns. Outgoing ICE Director P.J. Leckleitner has told us to reach the deportation goals Trump has cited, ICE will need a lot more money.
Trump thinks he could deport 1 million in a year. Is that feasible?
It's going to take a lot more money, and it's going to take a lot more time, a lot of time throughout the year. I'm not going to speak for the new administration and how they're going to do it. I wish them well, and I hope they get a lot of resources.
11 years ago, there were protesters at the White House who called Obama the deporter-in-chief. They thought the number of deportations had gone too high. Now you have the majority of Americans saying they're okay with mass deportations. Why do you think there was that shift in just 11 years?
I'm not good at reading the tea leaves and what's important to people or not, but clearly there's the will now, and they, a lot of Americans they're supportive as the polls lay out, and with more resources and more people, we can do more.
And with that, Julia Ainsley joins us tonight from Washington. So, Julia, you spoke to Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, briefly today. What can you tell our viewers about the administration's plans to start carrying out those large-scale deportation operations?
That's right, Tom. When I saw Homan, I was asking him about recent remarks he's made where he says that these will be targeted enforcement actions, and he stayed away from the word raids. I was trying to figure out if actually they're trying to temper the expectations of what the American people can see in terms of mass deportations. What he told me is the major difference is that they are putting more manpower toward the mission of deportations. In other words, more ICE agents to go around the country and make those arrests. And of course, with the new policy today that says they can basically basically make these arrests anywhere, he expects those numbers to increase. But I thought that was telling that he didn't say there would soon be neighborhood sweeps or large-scale raids. Instead, he said, we're putting more people towards that mission.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.